G'day folks, welcome to On the Bench. Today I'm going to tie the six-pack. The six-pack is a spin-off of a Carry Special, originally tied here for Pass Lake in BC where I live. Make sure you have these materials ready before you tie the fly. For hook, I'm using a Daiichi 1760 size 8. This is a curved caddis hook. You could use a straight shank. The original was done on a straight shank. Anywhere from a size 10 up to like a size 6. For the tail, the body, the hackle, I'm using pheasant rump. For the rib, I'm using copper wire 0.2 millimeter by Semperfli. For thread, I'm using olive 12-aught by Semperfli. This is olive done, just regular olive is fine. And for the thorax, I'm just using an aftershaft feather from the back of one of the partridge rump feathers. So I've gone ahead and I've wound a good base of thread on my hook. Next I'm going to take one of the more mottled feathers, and this is what I'm going to make the tail out of. I'm just going to pull the fluffy stuff off the bottom of the feather that I don't need. Pull the pieces I want perpendicular to the stem, and then just pull them off. I'm going to try and make the tail about the length of the shank. Just do a little turn underneath. Keep it from wrapping. Oh, one piece that doesn't want to go up there. Next, take your thread forward and find your copper wire. Add a chunk here. Oh, there it is. I'm just going to tie it on, and then I tie it a little bit forward so I can bend it back and go over top of it. Keeps it in really strong, it's not going anywhere then. Just tie that down. Next, take one of the longer feathers from the top of the skin, or one of your longer pheasant rump feathers. And again, I'm just going to remove the stuff I don't need and take the tip and just pull it as far forward as you can. I've just trimmed the ends off slightly. Just tie it in by the tip. And then you just sort of spin it and wind it up the hook as a body. I might need 3 feathers to do this. Sometimes I can get away with 2. And yeah, Hackle's going to stick out. That's okay, we're going to be trimming that off. Just tie it off when you get to the point where you can't really turn it anymore. Tie in another one. Again by the tip. Actually, I'm not going to remove any, I'm just going to tie it down. Ooh. I find sometimes if you just slightly turn it, it helps to wind it forward, gives it a nice taper too. And just wind it up to the thorax. Like I said, don't worry about the ones sticking out. So I'm just going to trim these off now. So this fly came about because the fellas that invented it, Carl Hoffler and Roy Patrick, they used to fish it up at Pass Lake a lot here in BC. And Carl really liked this yellow color. He dyed his own pheasant rump, apparently out of his own recipe, but it was like cow urine and onions, I heard. So anyways, it was a very successful fly. They were fishing it one day, and some other guys wanted their fly because nothing they had was working or whatever. And these two had run out of beer, so they traded him a 6-pack for a few flies. And that's how the fly got its name. So I'm just going to take my rib and counterwind it. I'm going to do a couple turns at the back, and then just bring it forward. And this is what's going to hold your body secure. Bring it all the way to the front. I used a thicker copper wire just because this is what's holding my body together. Reminds me a lot of a stick leech or something. Yeah, that's good. Just twist the wire off there. Next, I'm going to take one of the aftershaft feathers. So these feathers are found, if you look behind the larger feathers, in behind them, they're at the bottom, these aftershaft feathers. And they're great for making thorax. Remind me of like ostrich curl. I'm just going to take my wax. Even though it's wax thread, I always like to wax my thread when I'm tying in a stem of any kind. Just tie that in. Snip off the excess. And now you can just take it and wind it like ostrich curl or like a hackle. You could use hackle pliers to do this as well. They're very delicate, but they're not really super delicate. They can stand a little bit of pressure. The other alternative is just to take some of the aftershaft feather off the fluffy bits off the bottom of one of your pheasant rump and just spin it onto the thread as if you would dubbing or marabou. Trim that off. Just going to sweep these back. Wax my thread. And next I've chosen a hackle that has, I've chosen one that has a little bit of brown and a little bit of, actually I'm going to take a different one, and some of the olive on it. So it's got both. And then again, strip the bottom away. So you can see that aftershaft feather here on the bottom of this feather. So yeah, I keep those, especially when they're in a good color like this. I'm just going to bring my thread up, tie in the stem with the shiny side of the feather facing me. Bring this back. Snip that away. I have no doubt this fly is going to be really good, especially in the caribou. They love yellow up there. And carry specials. It's going to be one of the first ones I pull out of my box on my upcoming trip to Prince George. You could use hackle pliers to wind this. I just prefer not to. If I can get away with it, I just tie this off. Trapped a feather down. I didn't want to. And I usually bring at least one or two in front before, and then back and behind before I snip away the stem. And then just sweep these back and build a little head. And I've heard that this fly works really well with a red head, like a red glass bead. I can see that too. Or an orange head would be good, I'm sure. I'm going to try one in like chartreuse thread. Olive is the traditional color. And whip finish. I'm just going to apply a little bit of, I've got some loon hardhead here. Use your resin of choice. Apparently this works really well in a stream as well. This fly, I can see that happening too. There you have it, the 6-pack. Great little fly for both lakes and streams. I've heard you could swing this in the river as well. So to watch all of our latest Sport Fishing on the Fly episodes and to order Sport Fishing on the Fly merchandise, please head over to our website at www.sfotf.ca. And make sure you hit the subscribe button before you leave, so you don't miss any of the latest Pro Staff bench segments or any of our classic shows that are put up here on YouTube. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care, conserve the waters, and tight lines.